Okay, now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how women get men into the weaker position, so that way you pursue her for more dates, you pursue her for validation, and then you're sitting there wondering back and forth if this woman likes you. Now keep in mind, this is very important to understand because the women who do this the most are oftentimes going to be the women who have sky-high interest in you. Now, if you can identify these things that I'm about to show you, you're going to be far better off than 99% of other men. Now, after this video is over, what I want you to do is I want you to go down below, I want you to click the link in the description, and I want you to check out the full-length MBT, Masculine Behavioral Technique, full-length end-to-end webinar presentation that I put together for you, because inside of that presentation, what we actually do is we take some of the principles and some of the strategies in this video, we take them a step further so that way you can get results at an even quicker pace. Let's dive in. Okay, very important video because I'm showing you how women get men in the weaker and the submissive position. So what you have to understand is women's entire leverage or the main power move that they're trying to exercise in the beginning, okay? And this is so important because the women who actually like you, the women who have high interest in you, they are going to do these things the most. You have to remember, a lot of times women are going to be playing that exact same game, or women are going to be doing the things to use psychological levers to make it seem like she has higher value, or oftentimes she's wanting you to pursue her. So the reason why women do this is because in the beginning, they want to get you to do 100% of the chasing and 100% of the pursuing. So you go out on a date with them, they look at you as probably an 8, a 9, or a 10. They're like, oh my God, this guy's charismatic. I like him, I'm into him. How do I try to make it so that way he doesn't feel like he has the upper hand and all of the leverage? So she's trying to get you to do 100% of the chasing and 100% of the pursuing. And this is important to understand because the truth is she could have sky-high interest after that first date. She could have had the greatest first date with you. Okay, we're talking she's sitting there giggling, laughing, playing with her hair. Even you'll get there on the date sometimes and there's like shortness of breath because she's nervous and trying to figure out what to say. Okay. This is important. You got to be able to see these things because truthfully, this woman really wants you. She could even want to see you again past that first date, but she will still run game to gain the power to have you invest deeper into her or to see if you will invest deeper into her. She wants you in the beginning to give that double text, to give that phone call extra, to try to go that extra mile to set up that second date, to do these things. And I'm going to give you an example. When a girl does these things, these are the women that 100% see you as long-term. She sees you as a long-term potential option. If you have women who are doing this that you're dating, she's 100% looking at a potential future with you, or she's like, okay, this is a guy I actually could see myself investing in emotionally if I got to know him more. So she takes it at a slower pace. So what you can expect with these women, expect 12 to 24 to 36 hour time delays in their text messages and in their text responses. She starts to extend that time horizon naturally. She wants you to go home from that date. Notice that there's chemistry. Notice that she was investing in you. Notice that she liked you. And then have you sit home and wonder, I wonder if I'll get to see her again. Expect 12 to 24 to 36 hour time delays in text messages. What she's doing is she's trying to express disinterest. She's trying to express disinterest so you pursue her harder, you validate her more, okay? And so that way it seems like she's the one who's being pursued. She wants you to value her. She wants you to hopefully see her in the same light that she sees you in. Now this is important to know because a lot of women operate with the whole mindset of whatever happens, happens. So what they do is they have this mindset where they're just like, I'm just going to let the chips fall where they may, right? When Mr. Perfect walks into my life, or when Mr. Handsome walks into my life, or my dream guy comes into my life, it'll just happen. So women will say things like, you know, if he likes me, he'll work for it. Okay, they tell themselves these quotes, or they tell themselves these false realities that they want to believe. They'll say things like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Okay? When a woman likes a guy, it's easier for them to kick back and relax because they have these things that they tell themselves. They tell themselves that it's going to be fate, and when it happens, it happens. Now you got to remember this. A lot of times this is total bullshit. And a lot of times it doesn't just happen for them, but they believe it does. And since they believe it does, whether you believe that it is the correct belief that they should be holding, or let's say you believe that it's the wrong belief that they should be holding, it's irrelevant. And it is irrelevant because they believe this stuff regardless. So you got to play the game back too if you're going to want to pursue these types of women. That's just how it is. So when a woman likes a guy, it's easier for them to just kick back and relax, and they're not as urgent, okay? There's a few reasons why they're not as urgent. A lot of times guys sit back and they wonder, how is it that 3 days can go by after that first date? She's not really interested in seeing me again yet, even though there was great chemistry. How is it that there could be these 12 to 24 to 36 hour time delays in the text messages and she's not trying to follow up with me? Guys wonder, okay? Here's the main reasons why this happens, why women will kick back and relax, stretch things out over days, weeks, and months, see where things go. Here's why. The first is their sex drive is not as high as a guy's. So what you have to look at and realize, okay, if their sex drive is not as high, what does that mean? Well, that means when women like a guy and his personality, she's not even thinking about sex. Here's what a woman thinks about when she sees a guy that she likes. She's sitting there going, I really like his personality. I could see a future with him. The way he makes me feel is great. She knows that eventually sex could happen. She knows that eventually if you guys were dating or in a relationship, it will get to that point. But that's not at the forefront of her brain like it is for a lot of guys when they're going out and trying to approach women or they're trying to get laid or anything like that. Women don't operate that same way. So when she likes a guy, she's looking at the individual. What qualities make up who he is. Right? What are some of the habits and what are some of the lifestyle situations he's in that make him him? What's his personality like? What is his hobbies and what is his interests? Is he passionate about things? They look at the guy as a whole. Okay, they're looking at you from the inside out. And those internal personality traits dictate if she wants to continue to invest in you emotionally. So if their sex drive isn't as high, you got to understand they're not as urgent to set up that second date because they're not trying to capitalize and escalate things intimately as quick as possible. They're letting things happen. Which brings me to my third point. She needs leverage and she wants you to underassume your value. If she needs leverage, how does she gain that leverage? She gains that leverage by getting you to underassume your value. So if she went into that date and she viewed you as an 8, a 9, or a 10, she wants to knock you down a little bit so that way you don't view yourself as high as she views you. Think about that for a second. She wants you to underassume your value, which means the reverse is also going to happen. If she underassumes your value and she gets you to believe that you're at the lower value or you're at the disadvantage, she does this with point number 4 while overinflating her value. Okay? The way she overinflates her value is she gets you to chase and she gets you to pursue her. Now all of a sudden the tables start to turn. Now she feels a little bit safer to go out on that second date. She's like, okay, he's invested. He also likes me too. So safety is huge, okay? Woman goes out on a date with a guy. He's financially stable, okay? He's very charismatic. He makes her laugh. She's playing with her hair and she's nervous around him. That's heartbreak central for a woman. And I'm not just talking about escalating things intimately into the bedroom. I'm talking about if she goes on that date and she views you as an 8, 9, or 10, she looks at you as a potential guy who could break her heart if things escalated and she continued to emotionally invest in you. So safety is a big thing. How does a woman feel safer? She does this while getting you to underassume your value while she slowly, psychologically, and subconsciously overinflates her value. This is how the tables turn. This is how oftentimes men get weaker. They get more passive over time. Okay, and a lot of the strategies that women actually apply, yes, it will get men to invest in them, but oftentimes the tables will turn, and then what will happen is slowly, okay, test after test after test, concession after concession after concession, the tables turn, he becomes more passive, and then she exits anyways. So a lot of these strategies will even backfire too if they're played out long enough. Now, my next point that I want to make is most women run game, and most women are more structured than you realize. Say that with me one more time. Number 1, women do have game, and number 2, they are much more structured than you realize. So what does that mean? That means you must be able to determine low interest women versus a calculated woman. Okay? A calculated woman is playing the long haul. A calculated woman is doing things to strategically get the psychological power and upper hand over you. A woman with low interest is trying to give you signals, okay, to avoid you contacting her again through the phone in the future. So what does that look like? Okay? Low interest, here's what it looks like. She will not text back. She will never reach out, okay? And she'll ignore some of your messages, but will reply to only the ones that she wants. So you'll notice if you guys have dialogue back and forth on text, which I don't advise anyways, because the more dialogue you have, she can't sense vocal nuance or tone of voice. You run the risk of eventually saying the wrong thing, even if you didn't mean it a certain way, because she's going to interpret the words differently than how you said them. However, here's what you got to understand. She will ignore some of these messages, but she will reply to only the ones that she wants. Okay, so you're going to notice, like, if you ask like a question or two, she'll ignore one of them, but then she'll reply to the next one. This is low interest. She's trying to give you the signals that she's not into you without overtly saying it. She's just sitting there thinking, well, I hope if I push him away long enough, he'll just get the hint. Okay? Now, what does it look like when a woman is running game? When a woman's running game, there's a few points you have to be aware of. She thinks you're hot. Okay, she thinks you're a hot guy. She likes you. She wants to invest in you. You guys had a good first date. But you get the, oh my God, I forgot to text you back 24 hours later. Okay, you're going to get the, oh my God, been so busy, totally spaced out, and totally forgot to reply to your message. That could happen 36 hours later. She wants you to feel like she is disinterested. She wants you to feel like she wants you to feel like you are not a very big priority to her. And a lot of times this could be a total lie. A lot of times this could be a total false move. You have to be able to see through the smoke screens. That's the first. The second thing, you guys could have a great first date. She giggles the whole time. She's laughing. She's playing with her hair. She's clearly enjoying herself. But she's hard to meet up with again. Okay? Now she will eventually, but watch this woman stretch this out 2 to 4 weeks. Watch this woman tell you how busy her schedule is, and you have to really try to get that next date set up. This is a woman who's structured. This is a woman who knows how to lay her cards, so you falsely interpret her value or the amount of options that she has, so she can give you the false illusion that she is less interested in you than the truth. Okay? Last but not least, she's going to propose the reschedule. So she didn't flat out say no to your date, but she says, oh, something came up. Can we push it back to next Wednesday? Can we push it back to next Thursday? This is what you're going to notice. This is a woman who is structured, who has specific game that she uses to get men to not only respect the next date and the next interaction, but she wants you to value her. So why do they do this? Why do they do these moves? Why do they exercise these sorts of things? They do this because a man that's a good bet for her survival, meaning he has potential to make her feel the right way emotionally, he's well-liked socially, okay, not only that, he maybe is good for the long haul. A man who is a good bet for her survival and is well-liked socially is more important to her in the long term. This is more important to her in the long term versus anything else, because that's what she's looking at. She's looking at who's a good bet for my survival. Compared to most men who are just out there at bars and clubs, okay, most men who are out there just trying to get laid, or most men out there just looking for sex or a quick thrill. Women look at things differently. So what she's looking at is she's looking at, hey, who is going to be a good bet for me to emotionally invest in? Now, her subconscious, when she finds a guy like this, her subconscious, like her mental state in the back of her head, she doesn't even realize she's saying these things, but her subconscious brain is sitting there going, oh my God, he is bigger than me. He is stronger than me. Okay, he's taller than me. He's funnier than me. He makes more money than me. I want him so bad. This is what she's going to be saying. I want him so bad. How do I knock him down a few points so he values me? I view him as an 8, 9, or 10. If I view him as a 10, I have no idea what he views me as. He has all of these boxes checked. How do I knock him down a few points so that way he values me? Okay? This is the biggest question that's going off in her head, because she wants an equal exchange of value. She wants there to be something in it for her. And if she does view you as an 8, 9, or 10, this is heartbreak central for her. So keep that in mind. For women, this goes beyond sex. For women, this goes beyond just like a hookup or intimacy where they just find a guy and they clicked and like think they were hot for each other, but then they don't talk afterwards. That happens. What I'm talking about is when a woman meets a guy that she really likes. This is what you have to be aware of. What she's going to oftentimes do is try to get you in the weaker or the submissive position. And if you can spot these red flags, you can capitalize on them. You can set up date number 2, okay? And on top of that, you can continue seeing her, and there's a high probability that it will go somewhere. This is everything that you have to understand A through Z. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.